What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com here. Thanksgiving week. It is November 21st. We've got Smackdown Live to talk about. I'll get the plugs out of the way, saving them for the beginning and the end of the show nowadays. Even though it's Thanksgiving week, we will still have plenty of content up on Fightful.com, from exclusives to podcasts. We got two dropping on Thanksgiving. We have the MMA Industry Podcast, James Lynch talking to our very own Showdown Joe. And then that night, if you register as a member of Fightful.com, absolutely free, you'll have my Fightful Books It podcast, where I talk about changes that I would make to the Royal Rumble match and really what surrounds it. But that's not all we have over at Fightful.com. Photos, videos, events, results, anything you could ask for. Just head over there, check it out, and visit ProWrestlingTees.com/Fightful. Get our sweet Fightful shirts. If you buy a shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com/Sean Ross Sapp through Christmas, the profits will be donated to local charity and coat drives. I, tonight, am joined by Jeffrey Hawkins. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, doing well. I've spent the last week looking for the app for Black Twitter. I can't find it. Can you point me to it?
I could just give you my login information. Let me tell you, it's a good time. It's a good time. You gotta stay ahead of the curve. Anna Bauert's also here. She had an episode of Most Ridiculous drop this week. Anna,
hello.
Have you recovered yet? Because I know that you, like I, riding on very little sleep.
Yes, yeah. What was supposed to be my night off ended up being a night of putting together a newsletter. So no. But Christmas is coming, so I'm assuming I'll have a night there. It'll be good.
Well, we have SmackDown Live to talk about. They don't have the 10-week gap that Raw has between pay-per-view, so 4 weeks, we're good to go, and it looks like we already have a direction. It looks like we have several matches already in the cards. Shane McMahon comes out to the ring. He brings out Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And to be honest with you, not a whole lot is really said for the first 10 minutes. It's them just being like going back and forth until Daniel Bryan comes out and says, hey, we're not going to fire you. We're going to put you in a lumberjack match. I don't know how I feel about spending 15 minutes to set up a pointless lumberjack match. But that might be because I'm riding on night 4 of 4 of covering wrestling in Houston of WWE. That might be why it is. Maybe that's why I wasn't as excited about that. But Jeff, your thoughts on this opening segment, the tease of firing Sami and KO by Shane McMahon?
I agree with you. Never take 15 minutes to get to the point. I was transfixed by the bruises on both sides of Shane's head, probably from the pedigree. And I was, you know what, while they were saying all these things, I realized they have to kind of recap Survivor Series because that's their way. They always treat the audience like, hey, you haven't been watching for the past 4 days here in Houston. But I enjoyed Sami's little gesticulations in the background and just kind of Sami being just a total dick.
That's pretty much the highlight, and we'll get to more of that later. Anna, any thoughts on this opening segment?
I just kept thinking of the WWE campaign of Be a Star against bullying, and that's essentially what this show was. I mean, we'll get to it in the final match. I'm just questioning what the point of all this is, because I feel like what they were trying to do, the complete opposite happened. My dad actually came and sat down when Sami came out because he was enjoying his skanking so much. So these guys they have it. And this whole, like, the two of you, the entire SmackDown locker room hates your guts. I'm sorry, we've seen a SmackDown locker room meeting. Like, your opinions are invalid at this point. You all drink the Kool-Aid. You all suck. Right now, that's where I'm at with this.
Well, to be fair to that point, that was before they left SmackDown high and dry and cost SmackDown the match. And Byron Saxton would later bring up the point of where it hurts their bottom dollar and their money, and I appreciated that, but there was no real emphasis put on it. Shelton Benjamin defeated Jey Uso. I think it was Jey.
It was.
Jey.
I usually couldn't care less about these one-on-one matches between the tag team members, but Shelton Benjamin, it's not like that's been done to death. Even the Usos, not done to death. And it was fine. They traded kicks. Most of this match happened during a commercial. Sorry, Anna. When we came back, both guys got distracted by Jimmy Uso and Chad Gable. A super kick only gets 2 from Uso. Then Shelton moves out of the way of a splash. Gets pay dirt for the win. Jeff, Shelton isn't necessarily where he was physically or in the ring when he left WWE, but he's still not bad.
I found his selling quite good tonight, as a matter of fact. I thought, I didn't like him a lot on this New Japan run he did. I found him kind of, repetitious. He was still very athletic, but I just didn't find any kind of personality in his matches. I thought he was wonderful here tonight. He was very transfixing to me. I mean, I still regret not having a run of the Minnesota Stretching Crew on the main roster, but I'll take this. I also noticed there's no longer a fat Uso, so I like you, am having a hard time telling you, Jimmy.
They got themselves in shape, both of them. I mean,
they're motivated. They're very motivated. A little bit too much Gable interference for my liking, but the whole point was so that Shelton could win, not necessarily too clean. But I thought Shelton Benjamin was great in this match.
Anna, any thoughts on this? I don't know how familiar you were with Shelton's early run or anything like that. When did you start getting into things?
When he was around, I was dabbling. Yes, dabbling. This was a typical taking out one of the tag team and putting them together, even though this is the match we're going to get at Clash of Champions. And like you guys said, this is Benjamin up there. We haven't really seen this from him in this run yet, so that was cool, except that they always do this formula, which kind of wrecks it a little bit. In terms of getting the two mixed up, whoever called it on commentary when Jimmy was thrown into the barricade, they said that Jey was, which I was like, dude, you're calling the match. Jey's in the match. You should probably know your shit by now. My only issue with this was, I don't care that Benjamin won, but the Usos beat the Bar at Survivor Series. They can't really, just explain that. Have the commentary team be like, oh, they're still recovering. They're still slightly injured. Just, if they're going to keep bringing up Survivor Series and have a 15-minute recap at the start of the show, then at least do something like that for this.
Well, it looks like this is the match we're getting at Clash of Champions. Shelton and Gable against the Usos. As we should. That match ended a little funky. Now I got one question in particular for you, Anna. Principles.
Mm-hmm. At least the first question wasn't a repeat. But yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are backstage looking for people to help them out. They run into Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, later Rusev, and Aiden English. I really dig these segments backstage because it's a way outside of the Lumberjack match. You get Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, Rusev, Aiden English on TV without having them have to wrestle somebody every week. I think that's a nice way that SmackDown does that. Anna, what do you think of this search for allies?
I loved it. And his little character glimpses, the fact that Rusev just gets Aiden English to serenade him at his bequest whenever. That's a thing that happens. And we don't need to see that in the ring. We don't need to make a big deal out of it, but it happens. And KO's disdain, his disdain face is the first thing that I want to see when I die. And whatever's on the other side, I want that to be it. It's just beautiful.
Jeff, your thoughts on this?
First of all, happy Rusev Day. I was hoping Baron Corbin would pull out the old Groucho Marx line. Those are my principles. If you don't like them, I have others. I liked Bobby Roode here a lot. I thought he showed a nice little fire that he hasn't really shown in kind of his stilted promos that he's been getting. These segments at times feel a little bit too WWE 2K whatever in terms of you're walking along in the backstage and all of a sudden, oh, look, there's Bobby Roode in full regalia waiting to talk to you. But that minor quibble is offset by Happy Rusev, which is the greatest thing in the history of stuff.
Shane McMahon reveals that he is leaving the venue later on. Naomi is backstage and
lucky.
Yeah, and so Naomi's backstage. And oh my God. I don't know who makes the call and says Naomi's got to be the one that we have to have communicate verbally in this segment. You know, I'm really upset that I lost the SmackDown Survivor Series 5-on-5 match, but I'm pretty happy that Charlotte won against Alexa Bliss, just like she's going to do tonight against Natalya. What do you think, makeup lady? Ruby Riot? Oh, snap. God, man, she was miserable here.
Yeah, but I mean, they should. The idea is good. The idea of having it's behind the scenes and it's during the time she's getting her makeup put on. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, the dialogue is just it's as you say,
so bad.
Duty.
It's her delivery of it too. Like, I mean, it's going to be hard to deliver, but the way that she does is so bad.
Well, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm upset about this, but man, I'm happy about Charlotte, and I'm going to plug the match with her later tonight with Natalya. Oh, and here comes a new character in here that I'll have to introduce at the same time.
Instead of me doing the plugs, I'm going to write our Fightful plugs as badly as possible for Anna to deliver as bad as she possibly can. Like, I want her to go as wooden as possible because now it's mandatory. I get requests for new things to push as Braun Strowman on the show. So we got to go to the other end of the spectrum.
You know what the Ruby Riot introduction reminded me of? Did you ever see the Scooby-Doo mysteries where they always have the celebrity guest star and they'd walk in? It's like, hello, everybody. Jonathan Winters.
Oh, Jesus.
Sandy Duncan.
So Ruby Riot, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, they're here. They debuted in virtually the same manner in which Paige and her buddies did last night. Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose. You think there's some meaning behind that, Anna?
Yeah. And before we move on too far, I would like to just say that you should get your opinionated wrongfully t-shirts from Fightful online wrestling store, Pro Wrestling Tees.
Too natural. You're too natural at this, Anna.
What? It was my sheer enthusiasm.
Anna, you're such a good actor that you can't play a bad actor. Wow. You have reached the inception of acting. Like, it's like you...
It is against the grain. Look, people are pissy about why these girls, Sarah Logan hasn't been at NXT that long. Liv Morgan hasn't been on TV for a long time. The thing is, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riot, a lot of these women have been in the indies for a very long time. And just because a lot of these women haven't been on TV for a while, they're at the Performance Center every single day. They are working every single day and getting to this point to debut every single day. So to have this happen, considering all the crap that we've had from the women's division for the past 6 months beyond, I am so freaking for it and excited and happy, and I will turn up at someone's house and punch them in the face if they screw this up. But it's actually at the point where I would like to announce that I will also be taking bookings for 2018 because I want to be a part of this, and I have massive, massive FOMO. I'm just really excited.
Jeff, your thoughts on this segment?
I think one of the reasons they picked the women they did to bring up was because they're not on NXT TV all that much. So they're kind of an open book in order to write a story, but they haven't written the story yet. That's why they did them in threes like this, because they're throwing spaghetti to the wall and seeing what sticks. I also think the reason they brought up 6 is because I think they now have 20. I think it's enough for a women's Royal Rumble. I think that's going to be the build here. If I were both Sonya Deville and Sarah Logan, those are the two I think are going to be taking the falls for these threesomes for the most part. I would be and just for any of the members of the threesomes here, I would be very hands-on in trying to craft character development right now because I don't think they know what they want to do with them just yet. And I would not trust them to be careful with my character.
Road Dogg just wanted Sarah Logan on the main roster. I mean, that was it. He liked what he saw in the Mae Young Classic and wanted her up.
She's very good. I like this second three. I think both blondes are going to be protected. Let me put it that way.
I talked last night about how impressive it is that Paige willed herself back in WWE because they seemed very cool with just letting her earn her downside and chill on the sidelines, but she kept coming back and saying, I want to wrestle, I want to do this, I want to do this.
Oh, man, it's absolutely huge that she came back last night.
Yeah. Well, after all the stuff she overcame between photo leaks and bad relationships and suspensions and injuries, the structure fire of a match that Sarah Logan had with Alexa Bliss on NXT TV last year, where Alexa Bliss got visibly angry with her. And that doesn't generally, you've never seen that in an Alexa Bliss match. That is something to overcome. And fortunately for Sarah Logan, she was able to, because when you see those vignettes, they're I can relate to that a little bit. I got 10 girls on my block who act like that, who are sustenance hunters. And there are people like that. So I can see that. I can see the character in her. That's something that they could have really missed out on. And she had a lot of other things going against her, like the style of matches that she worked on the independent circuit that WWE kind of said, hey, chill out with that. Maybe don't blade on the indies. That ain't worth it. But yeah, if you all haven't seen it, go back and watch that Alexa Bliss match and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's from January or February of 2016. But I thought that they would get one look at that and never touch her again, and I'm pleasantly surprised at that.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd bring her. I didn't think they'd bring her back even for enhancement work or the Mae Young Classic after that. Just to finish my little spiel here, I think Ruby Riott as a leader is going to be fun and a fun change for her. I think the SmackDown debut for these three was better than the Raw debut for those three, because on this side they took out the top three baby faces of the women's division. I think that was a good thing. I'm going to be interested to see what the young women who didn't work the indies, how they do once they actually have to start wrestling long matches. And, Sonya Deville's interesting just because the horsewomen are supposedly training for that WrestleMania match. So both sides are interesting for various different reasons, in my opinion. But I also think a couple of the calls weren't an accident here either in terms of who they wanted to bring up.
We have some breaking news.
Oh,
coming soon to 205 Live, Hideo Itami.
It's a good call.
That's a very good call. I think that's the right move to make. That's the right place for him to maximize his potential. Good stuff. I've never been that into Hideo Itami, but I think I would really like to see a Hideo Itami Enzo Amore program. I think that could be fun.
As long as they keep him away from Tozawa and making that a package deal, I think it'll be good.
I always thought Hideo Itami would work as a heel who who was really disgusted. He could be disgusted by American fans, and I get it because they're so different than the fans that he wrestled in front of. So he gets 4 Japanese fans to sit ringside at all of his matches and politely clap instead of making noise and booing. I thought that would have been brilliant. Anna, anything else you want to put a bow on these debuts, or maybe talk a little Itami?
Just going off what Jeff was saying, there's a reason they also brought them up in threes. I really hope they do keep these factions together and they actually start delving more into women's tag now that they have more women on the roster to do so. But I think for the girls that do have the lesser of experience, that's, they keep doing this. They're bringing them up and it's training ground on the main roster. With the women, you can kind of understand a bit more why, considering just the difference in numbers. But I think it's too soon to be hypercritical about this. My perspective is this is just a breath of fresh air, considering the crap that we've been getting. Well, and, they instantly made my wish come true and beat up Natty. It was great.
Here's why I'm a little surprised, because like the Iconic Duo are ready-made gimmick for the main roster, and it doesn't help the backlog down on that level. I think it's kind of a weird
I was
thing.
thinking about them, but they wouldn't. This is not the spot to bring them up. They need to come up as them together as a duo, and not part of a bigger faction. I feel like these things are connected, and this is going to be a bigger thing.
Yeah, as I mentioned, they're not anybody's cronies but each other. Like that. That's it. That's where their loyalty lies.
The danger in that, though, is that the act gets stale down on NXT while they're still waiting for, like, after the Rumble and for maybe a couple roster spots to clear up. That's kind of the downside of that.
There's also the issue of who in the hell is going to talk for Kairi Sane and Ember Moon. Ember Moon ain't cutting the main promos in those matches. Like, oh my God, I can't wait until she's on the main roster, hearing her and Naomi just have a conversation backstage. Oh, Jesus, man. That's horrifying. What do we got next?
The Bros.
The Bludgeon Brothers. My only notes were the finish and that this debut qualifies as a real proper ass kicking. Anna, what did you think of these Ninja Turtle foot soldiers that wrestled tonight?
It was a quick squash. They were looking strong, so there is hope. I just wish that they got them out of that ring as soon as possible after the match finished, instead of the awkward, heavy breathing and tongue poking. But if you go and watch Most Ridiculous, the Survivor Series special, you will actually see what I was referring to, that they debuted these new outfits at the house shows and revealing themselves to be Kane's son. So that's that too. That's nice.
Jeff, your thoughts on the Bludgeon Brothers? You have been railing against them for weeks. I bet you love them now.
Not against them personally, against the gimmick. Suffering, misery, anguish, and pain. I think I went through all of those while watching the vignettes. I liked War Machine Jr. Here. I thought they were. I thought for certain this was the gimmick reserved for War Machine, and they just happened to get Rowan and Harper in there. I liked the debut. I just wish there were more Haas teams for them to work with, so that I could watch big guys throwing each other. I mean, if we hadn't seen Rowan and Harper team so much up until this, I think this crowd would have gone nuts for this debut.
Tom Phillips had the balls to say for the first time ever, Harper and Rowan tonight.
I think for the first time ever, as the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah,
I think they parse it that way. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, so next week, Jeff, for the first time ever, Sean and Jeff on a podcast as the Dickweed Duo.
I'm down with that.
First time ever. So stupid. Like, I'm cool with the Bludgeon Brothers and their gimmick and them teaming. All for them teaming. I don't know about that gear. Don't know about that gear.
The gear's no bueno.
It's super duty.
And you know what's weird? It makes Harper look small.
Yeah, they need to head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Fightful. Get a couple of those Fightful shirts. I mean, I don't know if you all have seen what Bray Wyatt wears, but it kind of looks like he went to prowrestlingtees.com/Sean Ross Sapp and got one of those Kraken Fight Team tees. Just saying, he wears a giant Kraken. Not that he's ever on TV anymore, but...
I was like, when has he ever worn your face on it? Okay, that makes more sense.
He should wear a Ya Boy shirt.
I was hoping someone from Team Smackdown would come out in a Ya Boy shirt.
More likely people on Raw than SmackDown. I'll say that. Did you all see the Bray Wyatt tweet where he, right after the Bludgeon Brothers debuted, he just said, "Come home."
Man.
What do you make of that, Jeff?
I like the Wyatt family as a stable, and bring back Braun too, and just have them kill fools. That's I have no problem with that, but I don't think Bray should be tweeting that during the show, because then it picks up steam, and then people get heat. That's how people get heat. Yeah. Sean Ross Sapp.
I just hope he was at home dressed as Sister Abigail and just tweeting that out.
Yeah, it looks like they just took the better road and just avoided that entire situation with Bray Wyatt. So that's cool too. So I mean, like, what do you see the ceiling of the Bludgeon Brothers at, Anna? Do you think this is going to be a team they get behind, or just one that they fizzle out on pretty quickly?
They're going to go by crowd reaction, I think, because I don't think someone like Vince would have a lot of stake in them. But the unfortunate thing about that is they don't know how to write this kind of characters, like actual dark. I mean, you can argue, yeah, the back in the day they came up with some pretty messed up stuff and it was awesome. But nowadays it's like, just look at Bray Wyatt versus Demon Balor. It turned into a Disney movie. And I feel like that's where these guys are going to get stuck unless they can actually really push to bring some severity into it.
Yeah, there's one of two ways this goes. They either die because these characters are so kind of goofy with the hammers and the gear and stuff, or they get over that first time they're in a really, really vicious type of brawl with someone like the Usos or the New Day.
So this Hideo Itami thing, we're getting a lot of questions about it. Do you think he's immediately inserted into the title picture, Anna, on
Probably. Probably, because they don't seem to have much stock in the guys that they already have there that could actually really do something with it. I don't know what the mentality is behind writing that show.
Jeff, your thoughts?
The cynic in me thinks he gets 2 pay-per-view cycles and he gets cut. I mean,
really?
that's kind of the way they do it with guys at the top of the 205 live division. You get 2 cycles and then you're either dropped down significantly or you're out of there. See, Neville, Austin Aries, Kalisto is about to be persona non grata on this 205 roster.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Tozawa gets jettisoned for a while. You know,
I mean, Rich Swann was there for a little while. He was at the top, and then nothing. TJ Perkins, now nothing. Yeah, but Cedric hasn't had his title shot yet, so he'll get there. He'll get there, and then he'll get out of there.
And then Enzo will still be champ.
Yeah. AJ Styles comes out and cuts a promo about not losing, not being exactly what he was going for in the Lesnar match, but appreciates the support. He talked about how people refer to him as Rocky. Paul Heyman put him over. Then he calls out Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal, who makes Naomi look like goddamn Daniel Day-Lewis, cuts a promo on the Titantron. They're wrestling at Clash of Champions. Jeff, you're an actor.
In name, yes.
Go ahead and describe to me what I witnessed in the form of Jinder Mahal on this Titantron.
Well, first you witnessed greatness by AJ Styles, because I thought the button on the button on that promo about, did you see the sequel to Rocky? In the end, Rocky wins. I thought that was a nice little bow and a possible, you know, it leaves the door open for a rematch should they ever want it. Even though the last time they've dropped hints like that, it was Finn Balor, and it looks like he's not getting his match. And Jinder, Jinder's straight out of 1985 still doing his thing. We're not going to have that title match tonight. We're going to do it on his terms, and it's going to be a Clash of Champions. That's gonna, let's
gang.
Yeah.
God damn, man. The Singh brothers attack AJ Styles. He ends up hitting one with the Styles Clash. We got 4 more weeks of this, I guess. Anna, do you think Jinder takes his title back?
AJ, I'm up here, AJ.
Now, the best part was AJ, who was looking right at the screen. Like, looking around.
I'm trapped in this box. Come help me. Help me, AJ. I'm trapped in this box.
Damn it. They tarped off the nosebleeds. How are you up there?
This promo was like a fan who turned up to the Performance Center open day having a go. It was just, he kept cutting in at the wrong time during the Sing beatdown. AJ was about to drop one of them, and then you just see this, and then AJ stops and looks at the screen, and everyone stops and looks at the screen.
I was waiting for him to say, "Where's my cue?"
Man.
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
SmackDown Women's Chat. Swear to God, if he wins, and we got to deal with this even more.
I hope he starts every promo by saying AJ up here, no matter what the promo is, just because it's become in muscle memory or something.
SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte and Natalya go to a no contest. The middle turnbuckle spot is the new Tower of Doom in women's matches. It happens all the time. One of my notes was that Natalya does far too much posing mid-match for my liking, especially in a championship match where that doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially when you're trying to regain your championship. I thought it was a solid back-and-forth match. Charlotte does a nice head and arm backbreaker, then reverse STOs Natalya into the turnbuckle. Charlotte's over-rotating of her moonsault actually worked here because Natalya got her knees up, and it made for a good little visual, at least from one angle. Anna, what'd you think of the match before the invasion that derailed it?
Yeah, it was a good match.
You're so proud of yourself, aren't you?
AJ, up here.
I'm just picturing the next 4 weeks. Natalya is like one of the 12-year-olds from Dance Moms.
She looked just like one.
She looks like one. She acts like one. She talks like one. I just don't. It's weird to me. She's 30-something. She has the body of a 30-something-year-old woman, and this is what's coming out. It's bizarre.
Is that an
the match
insult?
Was cool. I'm very curious as to. I've never seen Total Divas, so is this actually her, or is this
you saying that she's the body of a 30-something-year-old? For Natalya, is that an insult?
No. Yeah. Why is having the body of a 30-something-year-old woman an insult, Sean?
I don't know. It's the way that you said it. It seemed like you were intending for it to be an insult.
No, that's natural as opposed to being 30-something-year-old woman and looking like a 12-year-old.
I'm biting my tongue so hard right now.
Unless you're into that kind of thing, you sicko.
I'm just saying, it seemed like you were trying to insult her, and I was like, what's wrong with that?
How is that an insult?
I don't know. You said it like it was. Go back and watch the tape, Anna. Go back and watch the tape. Natalya's 35. So I don't know if
she looks appropriately 35, except this is what comes out. Oh, whoa. Dead.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. AJ, up here. I'll derail this show. Yeah, screw you all. You two having your little bit. I'm getting in on the comedy. I thought this was one of Natty's better outings up until the interruption. I agree with Sean Ross Sapp here. Yeah, I said all three of your names. I think there's too much gesticulating by heel women in the middle of their matches now, doing poses and doing the screaming. You're not any good now, Bailey, Sasha, whoever they're going to yell at the time. I think there's way too much of that kind of soap opera type stuff. And now you two may continue about Natty's body.
Yeah, us.
You gotta make it like that, Jeff.
Us. That's the direction that went.
That's me as Sami kind of bailing out of the fight.
So Ruby Riot, Sarah Logan, and Liv attack Natalya and Charlotte. I think NXT got more chance on Tuesday than they did on Saturday, guys. It's kind of odd.
It's Charlotte not even on NXT that much.
Yeah, Charlotte, I thought sold like $1 million for Ruby Riot's finish. That arm wringer kick, that was wonderful.
That was the other thing in the promo before with the Becky beatdown. Becky sold her ass off.
Oh, yeah, she
to
did.
the point where it's like, hats off to her. She really put those women over.
And I think Sarah Logan looked appropriately bloodthirsty in this beatdown as well, where she was just kind of stalking Charlotte.
Hunting season.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
that
that.
in a promo. She is using that in a promo.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Ooh.
It's a new catchphrase. Why you got to do that?
Damn. You're welcome, Sarah. So, yeah, I gotta trash the production because as soon as people show up at ringside, the cameramen have a goddamn seizure. And
Attack!
Up here, AJ.
yeah, that would have been a major. They should have zoomed right into Jinder's face, like a hard zoom on his nose. Just like, that would have been great.
He almost did, actually. That final shot of him was mighty close.
Is it his nose or the moon landing? Quit. Let's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Lumberjack match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated New Day. The funniest part of this show was nobody touches Kofi Kingston outside, but they all attack Zayn. That wasn't funny. What was funny was Kevin Owens kicking Tyler Breeze in the back of the head. To the point to where I don't think Tyler sold it because he didn't expect it or know that it would happen. just without discrimination, Zayn just kicking who was ever Owens kicking who was ever closest to him. Xavier Woods was dressed as a lumberjack. Tonight, I learned that Mike Kanellis, the Colognes, and Ty Dillinger are all still on the road. And when I saw the Colognes, what did you think, Jeff?
What did I think when I saw the Colognes? I was happy to see them, more or less.
Because I was just fully expecting them to be chum in the water for the Bludgeon Brothers next week.
Yeah, no, I expect that to happen. I think you underplayed how well Sami played this first beatdown of his, because he threw Kofi out and like almost on instinct decided to follow him and then took that beat and realized the mistake he made before everybody just swarmed on him. I thought that I howled at that. I know you may not have found that funny. I howled at that spot. And then Kevin Owens adding the little kicker to it by kicking Tyler Breeze in the head was just fantastic. You know what? I was actually a little surprised that the UK guys weren't brought out for the lumberjack because they were on the on I guess main event, or at least on the pre-show for SmackDown. So I thought that would have been a nice little cool touch. But no, I liked that first spot. I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but I really didn't like them having to get the heat back after Sami got the win. I thought Sami should have escaped right there, and that would have made it much more clever and much more we want to see them get their comeuppance than watching Sami get beat down. I thought it was way too soon for that.
We'll get to that. Sami Zayn shadow boxes and dances, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I don't even know what Byron Saxton said, but Corey Graves immediately fired back and said, "Sharks don't have hands, Saxton." And I liked it. So Kevin Owens fired up. Kevin Owens gets knees on a senton attempt. It looked painful, but not as painful as the Big E suplex hot tag. Corbin accidentally cracks Bobby Roode. My question is, Anna, how here are you for Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin?
I'm actually pretty interested.
I bet you are. Those promos, oh boy, I'm going to put those on when I am having trouble sleeping. After a long day's work, I'm wired, all the caffeine.
I legitimately am interested by the in-ring. Thank you very much. I think that could be something cool.
Could be.
Hey, it's something different, okay, at least. The whole brawl thing.
I remember around April of 2017, everybody said, at least they're doing something different. And 7 months later, here we sit as Jinder Mahal awaits his WWE Championship rematch. AJ,
no races
up here.
Were hurt. No races were hurt in the making of this promo. There is a difference.
Just veterans. You know. Okay. Shout out to Mike Gilbert. I remember you. Baron Corbin doesn't remember you, but I do. Zayn manages to sneak out a win, but doesn't sneak out of the arena. Kofi jumped out onto Rusev in English after they helped him. Kevin Owens runs away. Runs right into Daniel Bryan. I don't know if Owens is like legitimately tired, but if not, he sells being tired and panicked very, very well. Anna, he begs for his job back, or begs for his job, and Bryan books him against Randy Orton next week. And then Kevin Owens is like, no, I'm not doing that. And then he realizes he might get fired, and he's like, okay, thank you.
Part of me kind of wish, because he was on his knees when Daniel Bryan was like, no, I wasn't going to fire you, if Kevin just low-blowed him right then and there. Like, you made us go through all that shit for nothing. And I love at the top of the show, they set up that Randy Orton was sent home because he said that he couldn't control what would happen. And then Shane left because he said he couldn't control what would happen. And I just love that that is now an excuse that I can use when I go into work. Sorry, like, Greg really pissed me off the other day. I'm just going to go home because I'm not going to be able to control myself. It works. Just the whole brawl thing. That would work if there was actually underlying tension there between the roster, and then this is just boiling point, and that's cool. But the way that it happened just made them look like just really sad, squabbling, pathetic men. And it's like, really, like, that is going to create that amount of chaos. It just looked, the whole thing just made the entire men's roster look really weak and bad. And I mean, from the Kool-Aid thing with the locker room horror, and then now this. And then I don't understand the intention behind, where are they going with Sami and Kevin? Did they mean to make them come across as faces in this whole thing? Because that beatdown at the end by New Day, that was like to the point of their entrance now when they pour cereal down little kids' throats. They've got to be careful that that isn't seen as assault, because that's kind of where their personas are heading. So I just don't understand what they are trying to affect by having this angle.
I think we should also give credit to Sami Zayn again for changing up his entrance when they came down to the ring for this one, where he wasn't bouncing around. He was dejected about having to fight this fight with the locker room out there. I thought that was great. I'm a little disappointed. I don't know about you two. I'm disappointed that nothing really came of this whole Daniel Bryan tension with Shane McMahon. I really think that there should have been something done about that rather than just kind of going back to status quo.
There's a lot that I haven't gotten. SmackDown used to be so good about tying up loose ends and making sure everything made sense. Talking Smack was a big part of that, because when something didn't make sense, Daniel Bryan could go unscripted and make sense of it on that show. Mm-hmm. And everything was fine. Like, okay, cool, that makes sense. But they don't have that anymore. Also, we'll talk about this. Jeff, are you surprised that a show that is designed solely to insult its audience got canceled in Bring It to the Table?
Oh, thank God. My long national nightmare is over that Bring It to the Table was canceled. They could take it back, because I don't want it brought to the table. I hated that show with the passion of 1,000 suns. I hated, if hate were people, it would be China. I hated that thing so much. I hated the spin of it. I hated the insulting of it. I hated Peter Rosenberg on it. I hated everything. JBL was insufferable on that dumb thing. Heyman saved that first episode, and then after that, it was downhill from there.
I thought that he even tried to thought he was bad on that too, because he played the role that I thought WWE really wanted him to play. Like, he just, like, at every turn when Rosenberg would try to say something, and like I said last night, to Rosenberg's credit, he has said, I'm not a journalist. I am going to do whatever WWE wants me to do. So, hey, if that's your motive, then more power to you. I'm not going to hate on somebody for that, but
no, you know what they did? They took Heyman's goodwill with smart fans, so to speak, and turned it against smart fans. And that was kind of unforgivable in a way.
Anna, did you ever watch Bring It to the Table?
Couldn't stomach it. No, I've seen a couple of segments for research.
Neither anybody else, apparently.
No, it was just like, what's the point? This felt like active punishment for us enjoying Talking Smack. And then they took away Talking Smack. They're like, no, that's not enough. You're going to have to keep watching this for a while.
An active punishment for wanting something to make sense just a little bit more. Wanting a show, wanting to enjoy a show that you grew up enjoying and that you enjoy at times. Like, how dare you offer up your thoughts on a program? Imagine if the guy that ran Talking Dead treated their audience the way that WWE did with that show.
He never would, because he's amazing. But that's the thing. Like, why can't they actually hire? And they have tried to hire people who represent the fans. But the problem with that is it's exactly why Talking Smack was pulled. They only want people to represent the fans if they are going to have the voice of Vince while doing that.
And that was my problem with, I mean, I loved Talking Smack because it felt like that leash was off. They were having fun trying to find their characters, and I didn't have to deal with buzzwords like the WWE Universe and the big dog and, you know, every single kind of just catchphrase.
It's boss time!
Yeah.
It's hunting season.
AJ up here.
Up where?
I'm hoping that becomes Ginger's new T-shirt.
Where? Up here. People on Twitter right now are asking for Dickweed Duo T-shirts. By the way, what have I done?
Finally, I get some merchandise out of this whole deal.
Oh God, Jeff!
Can I please make the T-shirt design?
Oh dear God, it's just gonna be me in crayon saying "Dickweed Duo."
That's a great idea.
It's gonna be demographic.
Jeff, any more thoughts on this SmackDown this Tuesday? Next week we have Orton and KO. We have AJ versus the Singh Brothers. I might go to that show. It's probably going to be literally a day of decision, but yeah, we got SmackDown next week.
Judging from the photos from the arena tonight, it's a bad idea to do off non-big two, meaning Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, 4-day weekends, especially at non-destination locations right before the holidays. Bad idea. But overall, the show, I thought, I enjoyed this one a little bit more than Raw, to be honest with you.
The city being Atlantis about 3 months ago doesn't help either.
That too.
Anna, anything else to add to this SmackDown show?
Just 4 more weeks. 4 more weeks of Jinder, Hardbody, Mahal. And then who knows?
It won't be 4 more weeks. It'll be a lifetime that people will get to enjoy their Fightful.com t-shirts if they go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Fightful. Yeah. Over there, you can buy the Your Boy t-shirt or the Fightful t-shirt. It's as bad as I can do it. It's as bad as I can do it.
It's pretty bad.
Hey, I worked hard on it. Follow Jeff at CrapGame13. Follow Anna at Anna Bauert. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. And, of course, visit us at Fightful.com. Register, and you will get that podcast that drops Thursday evening. It is members only. Absolutely free to sign up, so go do it. Jeff, tell the people what you got going on this week.
We're going to do a show after this, but we're not. So the only show you're getting for this holiday week is Rob and I talking NXT and Survivor Series. A lively discussion, I thought. I thought both of us really enjoyed both shows for the most part, except for the end of Survivor Series. But, yeah, have a good Thanksgiving, all you Yanks and all you non-Yanks. Enjoy your week.
Anna, do you all have a holiday this week? I know sometimes, like, other countries, even though they're like, it's not Thanksgiving over there, might have a holiday set up. You all got anything of the sort?
We have a holiday celebration this Saturday night at Reawakening 16 with EPW. So if you're in the Perth, West Australian area, come on over, 7 p.m. Have a good time, have a beer. It'd be great.
I am disappointed.
Also, most ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you know, that was a beautiful segue. That was magical. I am the king of segues, but that was great. I was expecting a Rusev Day comment, but that one was even better.
Well, Rusev Day is every day. It's not just end of November.
Well, I don't know what they do in Australia.
No. Oh, Rusev Day.
Guys, thank you all so much. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share the stories, share the podcasts, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for sticking with us through NXT TakeOver Saturday, Survivor Series on Sunday, Raw Monday, SmackDown Tuesday. We have shows up for all of them. If you want to go back and check it out, subscribing gets you all those. Of course, they are at Fightful.com, FightfulPods.com. Until next time, we're out.